Welcome to dBrief. I, Deepika, will take you through the highlights of the webinar, National Webinar on the Importance of Bioethics in Medical Education and Clinical Practice, which was recently organized by IMA Maharashtra State and Privara Institute of Medical Sciences DU on 5th of November 2020 and sponsored by DigiShield. Bioethics is a part of morals, which is interdisciplinary investigation of issue made by natural and clinical advancement and its effect in the public arena and worth framework for the time being and for what's to come. It worries for moral inquiries include in human comprehension of life and is conceived by the need of a pundit reflection about moral clashes. To understand the concept of much clarity, DigiShield joined hands with IMA Maharashtra State and Prabhara Institute of Medical Sciences. The session was kick-started by Professor Ved Prakash Mishra, who is the Professor Chancellor DMIM, Head, National Academic Program India, began to concentrate on the topic Importance of Medical Bioethics and Bioethics Education in Clinical Practice. He quoted bioethics as a huge paradigm shift in the thoughtful analogy of the man over a certain period of cultural evolution apart from biological evolution. He outlined the difference between barbaric society and civilized society, along with the description of the trinity which governs the civilized society. He concluded by suggesting a small change. Let's hear what it is.
All our registrations, ladies and gentlemen, they are open for re-registration. Registration are granted to all the professionals every 5 years in the state of Maharashtra, speaking for and on behalf of the rule which has been structured by the State Medical Council of Maharashtra. 30 credit hours are required for the purposes of the said renewability of the registration. My submission is simple. Let the medical schools in the state of Maharashtra take the onus that they would be the ones which will be preparing the modular approach for orientation, inculcation of bioethics as incorporated in the ADCOM module in 5 distinct modules, which will be readied for the respective professional associations. And it is these modular training and orientation of the professionals. And therefore, I request Avinash Gondwe, Wankhedkarji, and all the leaders of IMA, including my learned brother, Dr. Jailal, that let us take a position that out of the 30 credits that are necessary for the purposes of renewal or re-registration for a medical professional, 10% of those credits means 3 credits in the interim of period of 5 years for the purposes of renewability shall be accrued in the domain of bioethics, professional ethics, and modalities of handling ethical dilemma, structuring it in the format as depicted in the ADCOM module. And therefore, that is exactly what I'm saying is ADCOM module extended to health professionals outside the precincts and premises of the teaching institutions in the country.
Dr. Ravi Wankhedkar, past National President IMA, Treasurer WMA, started to speak on the topic Need of Bioethics in Medical Education. He suggested that the bioethic principles should not be restricted between teachers and students, whereas it should be translated to the medical practitioners. He informed that the Indian Medical Association has tied up with UNESCO Bioethics Program and has managed to organize more than 2,000 gatherings. He concluded his speech by suggesting
our own Charak Sanhita describes the code of physician, code for the physicians, how a Raj Vaidya should behave, how a Vaidya should behave towards his patient, towards his fellow colleagues. The Siddha system of medicine in South India also describes a similar code. The Chinese medicine describes the similar code. The code of Hammurabi, which is much before the Hippocratic Oath, also describes the code of ethics. And we have evolved it over a time period. And let me inform this August gathering that World Medical Association gives a special emphasis on ethical problems. And just to give an example, if you want to change any ethical resolution on ethics or any ethical issue, we in WMA require 3/4 of a majority. All other resolutions, or changes in the constitution can be done by a two-third majority. A resolution other than ethics can be passed and moved with a simple majority. But a issue related to ethics, any resolution, even a comma has to be changed, we require a three-fourths majority. That is the level of importance which World Medical Association gives to all ethical issues. And the Code of Helsinki, or what we call as the Code of Geneva, which was further amended in Helsinki and further amended in Reykjavik in 2018, and a further revision is going on. The physician prayer of WMA, the IMA prayer of Indian Medical Association are basically examples of nothing but ethics and how a physician should behave.
Up next, Dr. Y.M. Jairaj, who is a Vice Chancellor in Privara Institute of Medical Services, Loni, began to address the topic bioethics in COVID pandemic. He started off by sharing the impact of the pandemic in the overall spheres of life. He highlighted the challenges along with the four principles of medical ethics. Let's just hear it from him. What Pravara PIMSDU takes all initiatives.
At Pravara, we have taken a lot of initiatives thanks to our benevolent management. We are indebted to our chairman and the president of Pravara Medical Trust, Dr. Rajendra Patilji. Though there was no government order yet, as early as June, we started a Pravara rural hospital, COVID hospital with 100 beds, with all the facilities. And so far, we are able to treat. Then the government considered our hospital as a non-COVID hospital. So the Pravara COVID hospital continue to serve the rural areas, and everything is free. And because of that, we have got enable accredited COVID testing laboratory, where you have got TrueNat as well as the RT-PCR mission, and also the other methods of testing, so that within 8 to 10 hours we are able to give the results. And we are giving free of cost all the facilities to the the patients. And all the campus also is having all the facilities round the clock, so that we feel that there is no, as if there is no lockdown on our campus. To that extent, we are indebted to the management, and we are also indebted to our health warriors and the health professionals, and also our residents and students of our campus, the parents and the students.
Dr. Motilal C. Taide, who is an associate professor in physiology secretary, started to speak on the topic bioethics in clinical practice. He began with the definition of ethics and non ethics. He suggested the field of ethics is classified into three main categories: metaethics, normative ethics, and applied ethics. With the definition of medical ethics along with the need of medical ethics was described by him. To conclude, he said,
the autonomy, the right provided to our patient. Simultaneously, doctors has to obey principles of beneficence and non-maleficence. That means he has to provide the best treatment to his patients and see his patients should not suffer any harm during the treatment. The base of medical ethics stand on this conclusion, which extends with the provision of justice as human. The Tom Pucham and James Childress frame their model of medical bioethics on this concept and propose four pillars as basic fundamental principles of medical bioethics.
Up next, Dr. Gokul Jorvekar, who is a professor head surgery, RMCPIMS, deemed to be University, Loni, began to concentrate on the topic clinical bioethics. He outlined the basic concept which needs to looked at before diving into the topic. He highlighted the fundamental principle of ethics along with the various scenarios. Let's just listen to him as how he summarizes the topic.
So this is something like difficult, not difficult to apply in a clinical situation, and it is truly now. When we go through all the contents of the session, I can significantly conclude here: a physician should have qualities of heart and head. He should place always the interests of the patient above those of physicians, and interest of the patient has to be above the physician's interest. medical knowledge and skills to be partner. And when we have these, then probably we are surely trustworthy and in a better role as a physician or clinician. So we always have to place our patient better against in more than our interest, and patient has to always get benefit what he is supposed to get out of the treatment encounter. So what has been truly said by Peabody, the secret of the care of the patient is caring for the patient. So I think this particular statement makes it very true in the today's setting, and we always have to care our patient, and that only by that then following all the ethical principles, applying our knowledge and skills in a given situation, and following professional virtues is going to be one of the key ways or key principles or key factors in deciding our stance in front of the patient, and probably then we are just doing justice with our role as a good doctor.
The webinar ended on a good note when Dr. J.A. Jayalal, IMA National President-elect year 2020-2021, started to speak on the topic doctor-patient relationship. He began his lucid speech by suggesting that the relationship between the patient and doctor is a supportive one. The traditional methods are being questioned, and hence it has been updated, is what he suggested. He concluded by saying,
I'm so thankful that the four words which we repeatedly use, beneficence, autonomy, maleficence, and justice, and this we need to repeatedly put in your head. And I'm so fascinated about one of the four-way principle which we talk in the Rotary. Rotary, what we are doing is right. Is it beneficial? It will bring the good health and will harm anybody. So with that principle, and if you are working on that, and if you are giving much importance, the patient benefit as one of the most foremost thing, I'm sure that definitely we will be able to build that relationship. Whatever said and done, whatever the people still have some misbelief on the doctors, majority of our public still has a lot of respect for doctors, lot of faith in doctors. They are ready to worship the doctors as a great people, and at any cost, our selfish interest, our ulterior motives should not hinder this relationship, and that is more important for us to build this relation to the very cordial way. So IMA plead upon all our colleagues who are listening to this, please update your ethical principles in building up that doctor-patient relationship. Your patients are your potential supporters. Your patients are going to be they are going to help you in all the ways possible way. So let us stick on to that principles of ethics, and always have that mind of empowering the patient, and do not take a decision for the patient. Project yourself in the right way and adhere to the code of ethics which the MCA is talking to you. Then definitely we will be aware the legal errors. Something may not be may not be a right time, you may think, but every time when you do the things in an ethical way, and you will be always in the right way.
Dr. Dipen Mehta, a COO, DigiShield, took the chair where he discussed in detail how DigiShield is enabling doctors to safely and securely practice these testing times of COVID-19. DigiShield can conduct a quick and effective COVID-19 carrier risk screening of every patient before visiting the clinics. To watch the entire video, please visit our website www.digishield.me and click on the dBrief menu.